Hello. Um, Today I got a fun video. I'm basically just going to be, I'm gonna just be showing my entire vinyl collection. So, yeah, let's just get straight into it, or else this video is gonna be like an hour long. There's gonna be a lot of talking in this video, not a lot of like actual like tapping and stuff like that. So, fair warning. Alright, first up, we have one of my favorite, if not my favorite album of all time, Wolf by Tyler, the Creator. I recently mentioned this one in my first video, I think. It was either my first or my second. I only have two videos, but yeah, this is probably, I'd say it's my favorite album of all time. Um, the, the songs on this album, there's really just a song for every mood that you're in. I still find myself every once in a while going back and listening to the whole album just because really every song on this album is good. Um, this is what the inside looks like, and then this is what the back looks like, and then pulling out a record here. I'm gonna see, yeah. This is the record itself comes in a pink color with the um the Odd Future logo on one side, the donut, and then oh my god, the track list for this disc on that side. So yeah, pretty cool album. If you haven't heard it before, I recommend you go and listen to it. It's really good. It's one of Tyler the Creator's earlier works. It's like his second album ever made, so it's a little bit more edgier than his newer albums, but it's still pretty good. Alright, next we have Midnight Marauders by A Tribe Called Quest. This is probably my favorite. I wouldn't say my favorite, but it's one of my favorite, like top three hip hop albums of all time. Yeah, man, A Tribe Called Quest, definitely without a doubt, in my opinion, the greatest rap group of all time. This is what the back looks like. The vinyl, the inside and all that. It's just a, basic black vinyl. Nothing cool about it. But yeah, man. I started listening to these guys around the time that I really started getting into music. You know, I've always listened to music growing up, but it didn't become as much as a necessity for me until about 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And this is a fun fact about this album actually. My teacher, one of my favorite history teachers, Mr. Cuniff, he he was playing a Ward Tour by a Tribe Called Quest in his class. And I was like, what is this song? This is a pretty good song. And he was like, oh, he told me the name and the name of the group. So I went home the same day, listened to all of their songs. Not all of them, but I listened to this album, The Low End Theory, and I forgot what the other one's called, but the one where the girl's like holding the flag and stuff. And I love all three of those albums. Um, but yeah, great rap group. Next we have Vulgar Display of Power by Pantera. Guy getting punched in the face. I said in my last video that this had such a funny album cover. Yeah, this is what the back looks like. Got the whole group right here. Pantera is one of, actually no, Pantera is one of the first rock bands I got really. I don't know if the term rock is really does them justice, but one of the first bands that I really got into, and they really set the tone for the type of music or the type of, I guess, like rock that I like to listen to later on in my life. So, yeah, huge impact. The vinyl itself is just a regular black vinyl. But yeah, cool album. I love this album. I love Pantera in general. A lot of these first couple vinyls, like I think these next two, I'm honestly, low key, I'm just gonna skip over these next two, Mad Villain and Thriller, just because I showed them in my last video. So if you want my opinions and thoughts on them, you can just check out my first video. I'm pretty sure it's my first video where I showed all four of those albums, or five, four, I don't know. Sorry, I'm a little sick right now, so I'm gonna be clearing my throat a lot. Next we have To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. This is probably one of his greatest works, um, alongside of, Good Kid Mad City, Damn. I mean, all of his albums are good, but this album is just, I love this album so much. And this is what the back looks like, and then when you open it up, this is what the inside looks like. Generational album. I mean, you can go back and listen to this album, honestly, any of his albums in any time period you're in, and it's just gonna be a classic. Like it's timeless media. It aged like fine wine. And you can say that for all of his songs and albums. They're all so good. You know, Father Time isn't catching up to them anytime soon. They're always gonna be great albums. Speaking of Damn, we have Damn right here, also by Kendrick Lamar. This is probably, in my opinion, his best piece of work. The storytelling, the songs themselves, the fact that you can listen to this album in reverse and get a whole different story than what you would if you listened to it in its regular format is just crazy to me. He won so many prizes for this award, as well as I think it's called like a Pulitzer Prize or something like that. I don't know, but he won like a really, really prestigious prize for this album that I don't think any other hip hop album has won before. So, generational album, like I said for the last one, it's it's just super creative, super fun to listen to. It's got songs for, I wouldn't say every mood you're in, but if you want to relax or if you want to get hype, that album right there has so many songs that will cater towards that mood. Next we have Straight Outta Compton, NWA. I actually got this album as a gift. I don't really listen to NWA too much. I know a couple of songs. Obviously, the rap group is iconic with Eazy, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, all of those dudes. So obviously they're iconic, but I don't really listen to them as much. But it was still a very thoughtful gift from a friend of mine, and I did listen to this album. It's a good album. So on to the next. Oh God, I don't even know if I want to show this. Um, Alright, we have right here Deluxe by DaBaby. I'm not gonna talk much about this album. When I first started my vinyl collection, this was like the fifth or third vinyl I ever bought while I was at my dad's house. He kind of peer pressured me into buying it. I don't like this album. I don't really like DaBaby to begin with. He doesn't have a lot of, he can rap, but his beats and the flow is just not there. I feel like if you got a new producer, maybe a new record label, he could make some really big hits, but as he stands right now, DaBaby is just, it's just not it. He does have some bangers though. I can't lie, he does have some banger songs, but that album, it's not good. There was a reason why it was only $15. Like, the album sucks. Alright, next up, we have Illmatic by Nas. This is also a really iconic album. This is probably Nas's greatest work right here. This album is genuinely just amazing. I love this album. Start to finish, you can listen to this whole thing with no skips. The storytelling and the OG, 80s, 90s aspect of rhyming and rap is really shown in this album. The really grungy and East Coast style of rap is really shown in this album right here. And Nas is probably one of, if not the best East Coast rapper of all time. So I had to pick this up. And it's just a really good album too. Not only did I pick it up because it's iconic, but also it's just a really good album. Next we have Operation Doomsday by MF Doom. I have looked at every single record shop that is in my vicinity, and I cannot find a single version of the cartoon MF Doom album cover for this vinyl. So I want it really bad, but I just can't find it. Yeah, so we have Doomsday by MF Doom. Um, he's known as your rapper's favorite rapper. I mean, what more can I say about them? Super iconic rapper. You know, his bars and flow and the way he can portray stories in his song through kind of a playful aspect and the multiple personas and personalities that he has. It's just really amazing work, man. You can't like. I feel like every person out there, if they listen to MF Doom, they'll have one song that they like by him at least, because this guy's just such a great rapper, man. Rest in peace. He did pass away, unfortunately, but he's still with us in spirit. Next, we have another classic that everyone probably knows. We have Exodus by Bob Marley. Very, obviously iconic album. This album is home to, Three Little Birds, I'm pretty sure, right? No, let me see. Oh, it's not. Oh, I'm such a poser. But it does have Jamming and One Love, okay? Those songs are really popular too. Not as popular as Three Little Birds, but Jamming and One Love is amazing. This album is just really good, so I feel like if you're into reggae or you just like the sound and tone of mood and all that stuff of Bob Marley's music, you should pick up this album. Or just, almost any Bob Marley album. They're all a vibe. I love reggae. When I was getting into music and I was young, I was I was really into reggae. I still do listen to reggae, but back then it was like all I listened to. And especially I went to Hawaii a little bit after I really got into it on top of that, so that just like amplified my love for it. So yeah, I love reggae so much. It has a very special place in my heart. Alright, now we have Igor by Tyler the Creator. Everyone loves to say that this is his best album. Critics wise and probably, storytelling wise, it is his best album. Me personally, I like Wolf more just because it has a deeper place in my heart than Igor does. But Igor's still an amazing album. Um, the thing that I love about Tyler the Creator when it comes to his albums or his vinyls is that they're all so creative. Like, this album was $28, or this vinyl was like $28. It opens up, it's got, all this stuff on the inside, and it came with a poster too. That Wolf album was also around 28 to $30, and it came with an amazing cool sticker, and it's got a purple or a pink vinyl. Like, he puts so much effort into his vinyls, and I just love it so much. It's amazing. But yeah, Igor's a really good album. Not my favorite piece of work. It's probably like close second, but I still like Wolf more. But that's still a really good album. You should also listen to it if you like Tyler the Creator's music. It's a little bit more getting away of the edginess, like a lot of Tyler the Creator's younger works like Wolf, Cherry Bomb, Goblin. It was a lot of edgy music. Horrorcore type music is what people like to call it back then. And then kind of, after Cherry Bomb, we got Flower Boy and then Igor and all that stuff. And that's when he kind of started to level up with his music and kind of turned into more of a storyteller and more of a type of popish kind of rapper. But so yeah, I just like his older works more just because they sit with me better than his newer works. But that's still a really good album. Like, a lot of people have that album in their top 10 or top 5. Young people. Old heads, they always have the classics, but that album's great. Speaking of Goblin, we have Goblin by Tyler the Creator. This is what the front looks like. This is what the back looks like, a little picture of him in elementary school. The vinyl also just feels amazing. It's not like that, kind of plasticky feeling that most vinyls have, like the little outside part. This is kind of like a more of a, I don't know how to describe it, but it just feels a lot different. When you open it up, you're greeted to this picture right here and this picture right here. Very lovely, I know. Um, Goblin was Tyler the Creator's first like major piece of work that got on, mainstream platforms and stuff. He made songs and albums before this, but they were kind of niche. Not a lot of people knew about that. But Goblin was his big breakthrough album. If you go on Spotify and look up Tyler the Creator's Discovery, whatever it's called. I'm sorry if I'm sound stupid right now, but Goblin will be the first album to come up that he's ever made. But it's really not. Um, he's made an album before this. I forgot what it's called, and then he's also made music before this. But this was like his first big hit when it comes to making music, albums wise. Another Tyler the Creator album. I'm pretty sure I have every Tyler the Creator album on vinyl except for Cherry Bomb, which I'm trying to find. Because I used to love him so much. I still do like him, but I don't listen to him as much as I used to. But we have Call Me If You Get Lost, the estate sale. So this is the deluxe version of the album. So it did cost me a pretty fucking penny. It was like $60. But totally worth it. This album was a summer album. It came out like right at the beginning of my like sophomore year summer. And I remember the day this album came out, me and all my friends went to the park that was right next to my house, and we played basketball listening to this album, and it's just an amazing summer album. If you're looking for a summer album to blast this summer, bro, this album right here, it got you covered, bro. It's got everything, all right? Amazing album. It's got the Call Me If You Get Lost on the back. And then a cool thing that this vinyl came with is, so not only does, I don't know if I'm even going to be able to show this, but it opens up 3 ways like this. So you got this part right here has a vinyl right here, this part has a vinyl in the middle, and then this part has another part right here. This album is like, the theme of it is like exploring and, just getting out into the world. So that's why it's got all the passports and stuff. And then I'm pretty sure the records themselves are baby blue, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay. This is going to be hard to get out because the protector that it came with is shit. I need to get a new one for it. But look at this. Baby blue vinyl. It's so pretty. So pretty. I love it so much. Probably my favorite one, to be honest, that I have. Very beautiful vinyl color. I love it so much. I'm going to have to cut this part out because it's going to take me a second to put this all back together. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Alright, so not only does it come with the vinyls themselves, but it also comes with this little pamphlet right here, this little book. And when you open it up, it has the lyrics for all the songs, as long as some visuals. And then it also has like inspiration in here, like what inspired him to make the album. It also has some like director's cut version of songs that you can read through. Just really cool stuff in that little pamphlet. But yeah, this album is great. 10 out of 10 summer album. I always find myself coming back and listening to this album and playing it every summer because it's just so good. It's really good. You should check it out if you haven't. Alright, now we have The Infamous by Mobb Deep. This is what the front looks like. The back is pretty boring. Mobb Deep was another hip hop group that I got into around the same time as A Tribe Called Quest. And it's funny because Mobb Deep was the more gangster and rugged version of A Tribe Called Quest. A Tribe Called Quest, they never really talked about, shooting or, fucking hoes and getting money and shit like that. But Mobb Deep, it's more of the gangster rap from back then. Tribe Called Quest is more mellow and chill and more about the rhymes and spitting fire bars. This is just, they do this, Mobb Deep does the same thing, but it's a lot more gangster, You'll feel the gangster in it. But great rap group. I love them as well. Next we have The Unseen by Quasimodo. I love Quasimodo. I need to get back into listening to him again. I was listening to a lot of his music at one point in my music journey. I kind of gave up on it though, just because if you ever listen to Quasimodo, his voice sometimes can just get really annoying. Not really annoying, but it can get kind of repetitive, and that makes it annoying. So I'll go back and revisit it someday, but Quasimodo's good. I just don't have a lot to say on it because not only have I not listened to this album in particular in a long time, but I also just haven't listened to Quasimodo in a minute. So, alright, next we have my second favorite album by Tyler the Creator, Flower Boy. So this album, I remember actually listening to this album on release. I was a wee little lad when this album came out. And this album is great, man. It's got really chill vibes. You know, this album does have some, early the Tyler the Creator aspects to it, but this album really marked the change in which Tyler the Creator started going into more into storytelling and more into a popish type of scene, You can really tell that he was trying to do something different in this album. He does do a lot of different in Cherry Bomb, but in this album, he goes for a lot more of a pop music type of feel. And so, yeah, really good album. A lot different from his earlier works. This is what the inside looks like. It says something funny on here. I don't know exactly what it says, but it says something about how he didn't have enough time to put actual like studio grade pictures on this album, on this vinyl panel. So he just took pictures on his iPhone and then just put them in here himself. So pretty funny. It's definitely something he would do. Alright. We are almost getting done. This video is only 22 minutes long so far. We're almost done. So just hang in there, guys. Next we have Back in Business by EPMD. Man, EPMD, not a lot of people are going to know this, man, but EPMD is fire. They got, the EPMD is like really early 80s rap. Early 80s rap. And it's just really good, like kind of like A Tribe Called Quest. They don't talk about all the gangster stuff really often. The beats are really good, their flow, and the duo is just amazing. I love EPMD. My dad actually introduced me to EPMD, and I saw one of these vinyls, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and cop it because they got some fire shit. All right. Next we got Public Enemy. I'm gonna sound like such a poser right now. I don't know what this album's called. I don't know if it's just called Public Enemy. I haven't even listened to this album yet, if I'm being honest. Maybe I listened to it like once a really long time ago, but man, I also got this album as a gift, and I have barely even listened to it yet. I'm not gonna lie. What I can say about this album, though, is that it's got a cool red vinyl. Look at that. Pretty cool. I actually really like the color on this one. But, I can't really say much about Public Enemy because I just don't listen to him that much. I just got this as a gift. So, yeah. We're putting this away. Alright. Next we have... Wait, what did I say? What the heck? Okay. We have Who Feels It Knows It by Rita Marley. Good album, nice little reggae album. One Draw is a fire song on this album. Yeah, basic little black vinyl. Yeah, cool album. I don't know if Rita Marley is like actually related to Bob Marley, but they got the same last name, so that's pretty cool. I probably sound like such a poser right now. Okay. Alright. Next we have Swimming by Mac Miller. This is... Hold on, let me cut this out, because... whatever. This is probably... I'm not going to say one of my favorite albums of all time, but my dad showed me this album when I was really young. And, Hurt Feelings, and what's the other song? Self Care. I really like those two songs on this album. Not much I can say about it because I haven't really listened to it for a long time, but it's a cool album. Alright, then we have two more. We have Bob Marley Greatest Hits. This is the first ever vinyl I ever gotten. It's got some absolute classics on here. Yeah, I already spoke briefly about Bob Marley. I love his work. I love reggae in general. So, my mom actually got me this vinyl when I got my first record player. Yeah, it's my first one. Yeah, it's just a good little fun album with all of his best songs. Lastly, we have Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar, baby. People like to say that this is his greatest work of all time. I'm not going to deny him on this, okay? This album is fire. It's got S tier storytelling, S tier rapping and flow and bars. Kendrick Lamar went crazy on this album, okay? This is what the front looks like. It opens up to these pictures right here, and then you got the song names with all the lyrics on them. Great album. Um, you know, there was a time in my life where I was trying to listen to every single Kendrick Lamar album and digest them and find the meanings of all of them. And I think I gave up on this album because I was just so worn out on trying to digest all the music. So yeah, that's my entire vinyl collection. Um, if you guys want to see my comics and manga collection next, I'll be glad to show that. But I got requested to do this video, so yeah, that's it.